being very proactive also makes the client nicer and happier, even in a tough market. If you are giving them some attention, they at least know that they're paying money for something.
We have so many different automations and so many different like EFT pay in full. It's very easy for them to forget who you are. And then when they are frustrated, they go out shopping. They don't call you. All right. You know what? This is my favorite topic, Stephen. Retention.
Wait, but is it policy retention, premium retention, client retention?
Revenue retention.
Revenue retention? Is it by account manager or CSR, or is it by producer, or is it by the agency, or is it by department, or?
Well, and here's the funny thing. I feel like in this marketplace, and I'm going to be very apparent, and I know some people I've had this conversation with are listening, so everybody stay calm. I feel like people are picking their retention rate. Like, well, I'm going to use PIF because the market's changing, but I wanted to use premium when it was going up. And like, that's like me being like, okay, you know what? I'm going to wear my stretchy yoga pants because I ate too much. Like,
well,
we need to look at all we need. I don't particularly love client retention, as you know. Out of all of them, I would say like, yes, if you're on Hawksoft, it's very easy to get. You should use it because it doesn't require a whole lot of mumbo jumbo to get. But I am a policy premium revenue. And especially if you're dealing in larger commercial, you need to see all of those. Because if you just do PIF and you lose $500,000 account, it's like, oh, my retention's 94%.
right.
Like, it's not. It's not.
No.
And then if you lose like a big workers' comp policy at 3% commission, the revenue, like you need all three to tell a full effective story.
You need it kind of by department as well.
Well, once you can clean up your agency-wide, by darn Skippy, you do. And then if you split by books of business, guess what else you need? Your individual retention rate.
No. Stop the shop.
But in order to get an accurate retention rate, Stephen, what does every agency need to absolutely religiously practice without failure?
Clean data.
Rewrites. I was at a meeting in Michigan and we were talking, there's a conversation about data before I began to speak. And this guy got kind of like, but the problem is the reports in the management system aren't accurate. The rewrites come in and it's canceled. And so you'll never get an accurate retention rate. And I said, sir, what management system are you on? And he said it. And I go, there's an actual procedure I can send you a YouTube video on. You need to clean up your data. And he's like, but the system can't do it. I go, no, your people have to.
Right. We can get it, but we have to follow a process to get it.
And then I go, and what could be more important than knowing who you lost and what you sold? And then I said, are you paying producers more new business commission? He goes, of course I am. I go, then you're getting stolen from. Oh. Because that new policy comes in as new business. And if it doesn't get adjusted, you just paid your producer more commission than you needed to.
Absolutely.
Agency drama llamas, right? So one of the things I think we should talk about with this in retention rate, Stephen, is I like a monthly retention. Industry is usually like a 12-month rolling, right? Mm-hmm. And I know why, because there's some change ups, people come and go, there's some cleanup that happens. But I think we need to be looking at it monthly in this market because clients are going to shop and find other options. We've been slightly under remarketing. And for any of you guys know, I'm not a remarketer by nature, but we've clamped down and now we have to start changing that mindset, right? Back to, we have to go looking around at accounts. And when you start to either work on your retention, if it's 12-month rolling, it just doesn't go up. Like it's very unfulfilling to watch. Mm-hmm. But monthly, you can see it and you can see it jump and it's pretty cool. But the same thing, if you're trying to track your retention and you have a problem, it's a very slow, gradual decline down to the bottom. And so you almost are catching it when you're in free fall. But what do you think about that?
I love both. I just want retention. I think that we need to look at it a few different ways. I think we need to look at it year over year, and we need to look at it for month by month because we can spot trends faster month by month, but we need to know what the overall picture is as well. So I hate to sound super geeky, but the more retention stats I can get, probably the better, because I can get a handle on, do we need to focus on some sort of soft skill training, like just talking about rate, or Do we need to do something ahead of time and be proactive? Are people leaving because of whatever? Or is it a true change of market? Like if I have a carrier withdrawal from the state and there's not a lot of other options because they wrote the crap of the crap,
The
I can't
crap of
replace
the
it.
crap. They wrote the crap of the crap.
Well, there's some carriers out there that wrote things nobody else wanted to. Then they no longer do that, and nobody knows what to do with it.
I
So you
understand,
can't
but it's
retain
funny
it.
when you say the crap of the crap.
The crap of the crap,
The crap
the
of the
cream
crap.
of the cream of the cream of
Cream of the crap.
the cream of the crap. But I mean, so we have to know why, and we have to take a look at the overall picture.
I agree with that. So, the average retention rate in the insurance space is only 84%, which in my mind would be like ring the alarm,
Bankrupt.
like pound the alarm. Like we got problems. And I'm not talking about
again, you're losing money.
yeah, and like if you have 1 month that dips there and you look at the reasons, that's fine, right? Like you understand. But at 84, you have to sell a crap ton. I wanted to use another inappropriate word. Crap ton of policies to survive, right? And I like to see agencies be more like 92, 93. We definitely have agencies that are 94 to 96. A lot of agencies start with us somewhere between like 88, 90, 91. There can be a range there. But I think that when we think about retention, let's talk to everybody about, what are the major reasons why we struggle with retention? What would you say are your top two, Stephen?
Lack of being proactive. We haven't done anything to build the relationship, so the client they'll find somebody prettier.
Well, that's a huge one. And can I report some breaking news?
Please do. Ding, ding, ding,
So
ding.
we've done our renewal review call program now with two very large national brands. I can't say their names, but national. If I said them, no, people would know them. One of them in 9 months by making proactive renewal reviews. This agency has 30,000 policy renewals a month in personal lines. Their retention went up 6 points. So from like 85, 86 to 92 in 9 months. I mean, that's like a massive one. The other one ran a beta test of a subset. They were testing out different renewal programs to see which one was going to move the needle. We were one. We won, by the way. I know. And in 5 months went up 4 points. So again, if they were, I'm just going to use some round numbers, they were 86, they would be at 90, which is a massive
change in profitability.
100%. So these proactive renewal reviews, well, everybody says, so let's unpack this because everybody's always says they can't be done, Stephen. No one's got time. We're poking the sleeping bear. And this is where I put you on the spot because we did this with Cross.
What?
Yeah, that was a long time ago. We were thinner, younger.
I wasn't a grandpa then.
You weren't a grandpa. You're a grandpa. You're not a grandpa. Yeah. I mean, I didn't have America then. So many things have changed in our lives, right? We're still fabulous, but ... So what say you on this factor?
I think that being very proactive also makes the client nicer and happier, even in a tough market. If you are giving them some attention, they at least know that they're paying money for something.
Yeah.
They're not just getting a random bill in the mail and going, oh, I'll find something cheaper because nobody talks to me. They're like, I sure like that, Kelly. I'm going to call her and ask her what happened.
That's true. This is also very true. I also think that, when you're thinking about these proactive renewal reviews, people are like, oh, that's service. But it's a huge sales opportunity. It's your cross-sell, it's your coverage increase, it's your referral ask, right? So for everybody and it's also your opportunity to maybe move that to a core carrier. So these renewal reviews are not just, or move it away from a carrier that you can't stand and you want to punch in the face. So that is one thing. My favorite way to bump retention, I think my favorite long-term way is staying in front of your clients, like nurturing them, keeping your name in front of them. With so many different automations and so many different like EFT pay in full, it's very easy for them to forget who you are. And then when they are frustrated, they go out shopping, they don't call you. And I'm just going to give everybody my last maybe tip for today because we're going to talk all about retention. So if you want to hear on our next podcast about how to stop losing clients today, we're going to give you our immediate strategies.
Yeah.
But one of the things I think that ends up happening is agencies don't really code cancellation reasons really well. My favorite, and Steven knows, like I get antsy because you pull them,
Kelly,
he's dead.
Kelly, I hope it was insured request is the reason why I canceled.
So insured's request. Yes, everything is insured's request or non-payment because the carrier downloads one of those two things.
I just got off a call and I was like, guys, we have 3 cancellation codes and we lost 100 policies. What are we doing? And they're like, well, was it insured's request or was it non-pay or do we need to look into it? And I was like, no, we need to use more codes. Send me a list of all the ones available and I'll tell you which ones are a priority. They're like, okay.
TTYL.
And I was like, but you're going to have to probably override it because the download might break it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know. It's just so hard because I feel like everybody's got that same mentality, right? Like, okay, let's just do it. And then going back is more work. But when we put the codes in, I like to put with a renewal review, without a renewal review.
Right.
With a reshop, without a reshop. And we just had this conversation with somebody who's got seeing a spike in midterm cancellations. And first of all, I have a theory. If it's an AOR or BOR, the manager needs to call that client. You got fired. You need to find out what happened. You need to pull every one of those phone calls. You need to figure out how you got your butt fired. Because that's not like a, hey, the rate went up at renewal. It's time to move on. That was a like, I can't stand your guts. So now I'm moving on. The second thing is if you guys are seeing a lot of midterm cancellations on auto, it's generally look to see if they changed a vehicle because people are not practicing the rate endorsement process. The rate endorsement process tells the person the new premium on the phone. For our friends who write with a company that starts with E and ends with RE, you need to explain rate lock before you process so that they're expecting it and then share it with them. But if you're not, they're just getting this inflated in the mail and they're freaking out. And State Farm tends to be like hot. So everybody's going and leaving you.
Until Q4, but that's the story for another day.
That's right. But anything else you can say about agency average retention rate? And guys, don't want to be average. Stop being like average is fine. Average is absolutely not fine.
And if you're below average, we need to have a conversation much faster.
Right.
I think that the thing we have to remember is we sometimes have to learn new things and be okay with a little bit of change to make our lives easier in the long run.
Yeah.
And retention doesn't have to be difficult. We can take small steps to get there, but we have to start the journey. We can't just ignore it. It's not going to go away.
I agree. So everybody, let's look at the APP retention program. Just so you know, we have it recorded video. Also, breaking news.
Ding, 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 ding.
We started our live virtual group training. So what that looks like is we're running pods of 10 to 15 agents or team members from different agencies. You can buy a spot, and our live virtual training team will actually coach your team on how to make these renewal reviews. So they're live, they're on other people. There's a little homework. There's a weekly lesson with a video. So we're over 10 weeks and we start a new training calendar every quarter. Check it out. It's amazing. And I can't wait. I'm super psyched about this new program because I think first of all, I get excited about almost anything. I'm like my dog, but this makes me psyched because I think it's going to solve such a big need for our agencies that follow us out there.
Yeah.
Or you could work with Steven or I, where we come out to your agency for dinner and dancing and proactive renewal review call training. And we will get your team making these calls in 6 months. We have had many agencies that have tried on their own. I remember doing it with Excalibur, Jeff and Una Roy, where they tried. And then we got up there and we got them making them consistently. So if you've been struggling, you believe. And by the way, if you're not one of those believers, leave us a comment why you think renewal review calls are the demon and the devil and how else a national brand would bump their retention in six points in 9 months without them.
Right.
I would love to hear your comments because I will refute them with all my data points.
Data is king.
That's right.
That is where it's at.
But check us out. So if you've been struggling getting their team or need to boost your retention, you need to contact us. You need to call us today. We are here. This is what we do. We're the best friend to the insurance agencies. And we have so many different options now more than ever to help you. So with that being said, check out our next podcast. customer retention insurance, how we stop losing clients today. So we're going to give you our immediate strategies, what you can do ASAP if like kind of taking your agency into the cancellation emergency room. All right,
Making
Stephen,
it happen.
I will see you on our next podcast.
Bye.